Let's preview shortstop, the most loaded position, next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Tuesday, February 15th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. And Scott, how do we approach this loaded position where there's 15 shortstop eligible players being drafted inside the top 100 this season?
Yep. It's loaded, it's star-studded, and it's one of the positions where I'm most comfortable waiting because of it. That doesn't mean I'm passing over Fernando Tatis, Trea Turner, Bo Bichette in round one if it's the appropriate time to take them. Certainly, if I'm passing them over, it's not because they're shortstops. But then you get beyond them, and I feel like the sort of shortstops you're going to see being drafted in round 3 or 4 aren't really that different in terms of overall ability, overall upside than the ones going in like round 7 or 8. So I'll take the 7 or 8 guys, which means like, Carlos Correa instead of Xander Bogaerts. It means like Corey Seager maybe goes a little early than this, but instead of like a Francisco Lindor. I mean, I don't know. My degree of confidence and how good they could be, I might just prefer like Seager straight up. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a position where you don't want to be the one taking. You don't want to be the one paying up for something that's equivalent to what you could get later.
Let's take a look at top 5 in ADP. Fernando Tatis is going in round 1 with an ADP of 1.3, Trea Turner at pick 2.0, and Bo Bichette at pick 6.5. Only one going in round 3, that's Marcus Semien at pick 31.8. And then in the 4th round, Trevor Story goes at pick 38.5. Currently a free agent. We'll find out where Trevor Story is playing at some point this offseason. But Scotty, Fernando Tatis, he is that first overall shortstop with an ADP of 1.3. He's absolutely ridiculous. Lots of power, lots of speed. He's really fun to watch, but he's now dealing with this shoulder subluxation injury from last year. So what do you think about the risk associated with Fernando Tatis, and who would you rather have, him or Trea Turner with the first overall pick?
Oh, I'm taking Tatis. I think if the shoulder, the shoulder is the only reason you'd question it. Tatis is just, other than maybe Acuna, who himself has major injury concerns, bigger than Tatis is actually, there's nobody else who can compare to Tatis in terms of overall roto upside. And, for all the stressing about his shoulder, he was dealing with it since spring training of last year. He only went on the IL twice for it. It was a minimal stay each time. He still played 130 games, and that was with another IL stint for COVID in there. So, like, he played plenty, and that was with the shoulder supposedly at its worst. And I say that because it's an injury that actually dates back to his time in the minors. I think it really flared up on him in spring training, and so he was kind of nursing it all year. But it's been there, and we just didn't have reason to think about it prior to last year. So, I think too much is being made of it. He's shown he can still deliver huge numbers, even if he does need some occasional time off. And hopefully he'll have an easier time managing it this year after an offseason of rest.
Sleepers, breakouts, and busts. Scotty, who is first up, a sleeper at shortstop?
Not the best position for sleepers since there's already so many studs. I'm going to go with Oneil Cruz of the Pirates as the real, splashy sleeper type. A big prospect who actually got to play in the majors for 2 games last year and already set the Pirates record for hardest hit ball in the StatCast era in those 2 games. Showed big power in the minors. Scouts had been waiting to see it. He'd finally delivered last year. He's 6'7". So, there's always been this question of, can he stay at shortstop? Well, at least for now, he's going to. And then, a guy that size, you wonder, is he going to have holes in his swing? Didn't strike out a ton in the minors, but yeah, it could be a problem in the majors. But for the price, I don't think you really consider the downside. You just look at the upside. He stole some bases in the minors as well. There's a lot of potential here for a guy who's the 230th player taken overall.
On our full-length podcast, each of us had the same breakout pick at the shortstop position, and that player is blank.
That player is Willy Adames of the Brewers, who, you could maybe say he broke out last year, but it wasn't. He didn't get a full season to do it. Really, the key for him was going from Tampa Bay to Milwaukee because his numbers at Tropicana Field during his stint with the Rays, 219 batting average, 624 OPS. Awful. He did not like the batter's eye there, he has said. And actually on the road during his time with the Rays, 291 batting average, 858 OPS. After joining the Brewers last year, 285, 886 OPS. Basically the same numbers. Like, this could be Xander Bogaerts type production for, 80 picks later, right? Like, this is Willy Adames specifically is another reason I'm comfortable waiting at shortstop, because I'd be fine with him as my starter.
All right, just give me a name here, Scotty. A bust at the shortstop position.
Javier Baez.
Javier Baez, lots of outlier production, and now moving over to the Detroit Tigers in 2022. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.